know what? Ken Helmsley's dead. How's that? Now we're done.
Uriah Heep, man. You guys are not even mentioning it.
Who cares? So do your own fucking show and play fucking 4 hours of it. Or call Kendall's fucking show. Play Uriah Heep all over Kendall's fucking request show. Shut up about Uriah Heep.
Uriah Heep, man. They haven't even so much as mentioned Uriah Heep, man.
We don't give a fuck. How about that? We've interviewed Uriah Heep 3 times. Once with Mick Box, twice with Dave Rimmer. Enough. We're done with Uriah Heep.
Uriah Heep, though, man.
Fuck Uriah Heep. Uriah Heep's career is as dead as fucking Ken Helmsley right now. So enough.
Why aren't you mentioning it, Chris?
Because I don't care.
Why not? They were so influential.
Not to my listening, they weren't.
Come on, man. Uriah Heep.
Yeah, whatever. Moving on. That's our tribute to Ken Helmsley. Rest in peace.
Oh, my God. So, people are they're just so involved.
Oh, bitchy. You know what it is? Everybody's sick of being fucking home with nothing to do. So everybody whines about every fucking thing.
Well, I agree with that.
Everybody's tired. If fucking stupid Jacko could go out to a show or something instead of having to sit home listening to his fucking 16 records that he has in his collection, all from 1967, fucking, he wouldn't be such a whiny bitch.
It's been 5 hours, man. Then they haven't mentioned Uriah Heep once, not even once in the show.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but you talk about LA Guns every goddamn week, Neeley. It's our show. Talk about whatever the fuck we want to talk about. Don't fucking listen, Ben. How about that? Don't fucking listen.
And not only that, but you tune in every week.
Yeah. So that's your fucking stupidity for listening every fucking week to us talk about something you don't want to hear. So don't listen. Go away. Eddie Trunk, Kendall. There's a million other alternatives out there. There's a million options out there. Spotify. Listen to all the fucking Uriah Heep you want to on Spotify. But go fuck yourself. It's not your goddamn fucking show. You haven't been hired as the producer, so go fuck yourself. Fuck off.
So funny. Man, we dictate what goes on the show, man.
No, you don't. No, you don't. Guess what? I could close this fucking chat room for good tomorrow and we'd still have a fucking show.
Yeah, pal. Yeah, I just paid the bill for the Rumble Talk. I could close it down anytime.
Close it on down. Fuck this. I'm tired of this fucking... You know, I'm out of the chat room. Fuck this goddamn chat room. Just a bunch of annoying cunts.
Yeah.
I'm fucking done with it.
Look what you did, you cunts.
Talk all the shit you want to about me, you fuckwads. I'm not in there anymore.
Yeah.
Go right ahead. You know, much like you say with social media, Neeley, I am officially done with the chat room.
Well, there you go.
Now I won't have to deal with it, just like with Twitter. Done with it.
Well, again, when you get something for nothing, you know, you can sit there and criticize all you want.
Yeah. Couldn't care less.
Couldn't believe it, man. Even though I spend a couple $100 a year on the chat room.
Oh, whatever. Stop spending it.
Yeah.
Set up your own fucking chat room.
Yeah, pal.
Set up your own fucking chat room.
So funny. All right. Let's see here. I don't know. This is something you sent me over.
Okay.
I'm not really sure how to address this, but I'll go through it.
All right. I'm not even sure what it is. So
it's about being a life coach.
Okay.
Tell Neeley that if he wants to become a life coach or a spiritual advisor, I don't think I ever said that. He may also want to get a license to style hair.
Okay.
I'm not sure what that means. Okay. Considered how the piece of shit named Larry Geller also parlayed an acquaintance with Elvis into a lifelong gig where he actually bills himself as Elvis's spiritual advisor. How convenient for him that Elvis is dead and therefore unable to refute anything he says. Something that may have been nothing more than Elvis's asking him about a book he was reading is turning into claiming he was Elvis's spiritual advisor, whatever that is. I also love how you don't need any training or credentials to give yourself one of these titles. I can't believe anyone gives this parasite money or to hear him speak.
Yeah. Well, he does. That was just an email that came in.
All right. Well, I know that I had talked here on the show that, since these cults rise up and it seems like there's people out there who are willing to spend a lot of money for somebody to go, hey, you shouldn't do that, but you should do this.
Right.
I could give the people that kind of guidance.
Yeah. Why not?
As well as you. It's just like, I'm not a genius.
Yeah.
But if somebody needs or feels the need to spend money to have somebody kind of guide them in their life,
yeah,
I'll be willing to take their cashola and go, yeah, you shouldn't buy, Coca-Cola. You probably should, maybe spend your money on, I don't know,
something else, anything else.
I don't know. I'll be glad to do that. I'll take their money.
Why not? There's Larry Geller.
All right. So this guy cut Elvis's hair?
I think so, yeah.
And so he now lists himself as Elvis's spiritual advisor?
Dude, in one of those documentaries about Elvis, one of those zillion documentaries that we watch, there was one, and they were talking to the what was the main crew, Memphis 5 or whatever?
Oh yeah, the Memphis Mafia.
The Memphis Mafia.
Yeah.
They were talking to the Memphis Mafia, and they referenced that this guy came into Elvis's life kind of mid-career.
Okay.
Like he started off cutting his hair, and then he sort of worked his way into being Elvis's like right-hand guy, sort of.
Yeah, sort of like a. I guess I'll have to go with your description there. His right-hand man, I guess.
Yeah. And apparently, and I had no idea, he parlayed that into a career after Elvis died.
Okay. Well, again, if you had direct association with Elvis, I guess you could parlay that into a career because people, for whatever reason, they were just like, well, this guy knew Elvis. He must have known him very well.
I mean, look at him. What's he going to do? What's that guy going to do after being Elvis's hair cutter?
I guess if you're charismatic enough, and that's the whole key to getting people's attention, being charismatic.
Yeah.
I guess you could parlay that into anything.
Yeah, guess so.
So you go, yeah, I used to, curry Elvis's hair, but I used to give him spiritual. Oh, what did you tell Elvis? Because he was really a megastar. He was successful.
Yeah. Maybe
you could shed that magical light on me and I could, have whatever that success is or, spark that candle that would launch me into that stratosphere, right, or whatever the case may be.
Remember when Elvis cut that album of religious songs? My idea. I did that.
All right. Fair enough.
So there he is. All right.
So, well, again, that's often something I've thought about. And I'll be honest about that. It's just like, well, if people in general are willing to spend money to be guided,
yeah,
I can give you some guidance. We do it here every week for free.
Yeah.
Both Chris and I both kind of like give you some guidance in your life, whether and again, we don't profess to be any kind of experts.
Mm-hmm.
We just tell you what works for us.
Well, I'm going to tell you the truth, Neely. After the way tonight has gone with this fucking assholes in the chat room, I'm going to let you make all that money being a spiritual guider. I want nothing to do with guiding people. I want nothing to do with people at all. I'm content to do this show just for me talking to you and you talking to me.
All right. Well, there's just two words that go together that make sense of all this.
What's that?
Common sense.
Yeah, there you go. That'll be $45.
But here's the thing. When I was a young person and there was a guy that he was one of my instructors.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things he always said that common sense is uncommon.
Yeah.
And the thing is that people, for whatever reason, can't be focused enough to just focus on the things that are important.
Mm-hmm.
And they get distracted easily. And unfortunately for this country and perhaps for the world, one of the things that have distracted people is this fucking social media.
Sure.
And that's the thing is social media has basically captured the imagination and the focus from people living their lives and making the right decisions and, doing the right things right, as it were.
Right.
And they get confused, they get caught up in it. It's just like, I don't know what to do. Where do I go? How do I conduct myself? And they get a guy who has a little bit of charisma to him, or as David Lee Roth once said in his video, you got charisma.
Charisma.
Exactly. And they step in and go, hey, I could put you on the right path. And it's like, what is that going to cost me? And it's just like, well, I got some money and, that only costs you, a couple $100 a day. Oh, right. Well, worth it, because I need to be put on the path of, the right path.
That's right.
And if you were involved with Elvis, you probably know what you're talking about. But I don't know. I think that there's if I wanted to exploit people, which that is not my deal.
Right.
I am not conscientiously. I am not a person who goes, man, I want to exploit somebody.
Right.
But if I wanted to, and I wanted to use this show as a vehicle, as our good friend Randy Trask once put it,
right.
Use this as a vehicle.
Yeah, man.
If I wanted to use this show as a vehicle and say, hey, I'll be your personal, life coach or advisor or whatever, and it's only going to cost you $200 a session.
Right.
How many people do you think that I could, possibly draw in to do that?
You get some.
Yeah, of course.
You would definitely get some.
But how many? But again, let's just say that the session lasts an hour. Say like over Skype or whatever. And I go, well, what did you do today? Well, I went to work and then, I went out to the bar and, I had a couple of drinks with my friends and blah, 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 blah. And I go, hey, maybe it's not the best thing for you to go to the bar. Maybe you should just focus on, your career or something.
Right.
If I said something like that, you know what I'm saying? And you're going to save yourself a $60 bar bill.
Yeah.
And you take that money and you put it into an IRA account instead.
Right.
And they do that and say it nets them X amount of dollars.
Sure.
I look like a fucking hero. And it's like, wow, dude, I would have never thought to do that myself. I've been spending $60 a night at a bar 3 nights a week. But I took that, $180 and I put it into an IRA, and now my IRA is worth $50,000.
Yeah.
And they go, holy shit, you're worth every penny that I pay you. See what I'm saying?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
It's all mind shit. And you could make these decisions on your own, but you just kind of need someone to encourage you to do that.
Right.
You know, but without that encouragement, you would make poor decisions. But if somebody that you thought you respected or thought had better cred than you or had some kind of notoriety made that suggestion to you and you did it and it worked out, then you look like a fucking god.
Yeah. Well, that's how these guys like what's his name? Anthony Robbins, Tony Robbins.
Oh, Tony Robbins. Yeah.
Tony Robbins. That's how he made his money.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he gave, everything he said to do. None of it was really earth shattering.
No, it was just common sense shit.
Yeah.
But the thing is that he had a presence on television.
Mm-hmm.
And that made it sound as if he was bigger and better than everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And just the fact that you and I have a microphone, in front of our faces,
right,
makes it sound as if we're better than anybody else.
Yeah, apparently.
Look at those guys. Oh, holy shit. Chris and Neeley. Jesus Christ. I mean, those fucking guys got they got the world by the tail.
Yeah, sure.
Well, really? Do we?
Sure we do.
Oh, well, yeah, I must have because I'm on a microphone.
Yeah. Here it is. Important.
But that's the whole game, man. It's just like, just because I have a microphone in front of my face doesn't make me any better than you. It's just because I'm talking into an apparatus and you're listening to me.
Dude, we said it kind of at the beginning of the show. Celebrity is fucking ridiculous.
It is. I agree. I completely agree.
It is the biggest of all the scams that are out there, of every scam that there is. The biggest scam is celebrity because there's no correlation at all to good decision making and celebrity.
No, none at all.
None.
But if you hear it from somebody that you believe is more experienced in life than you, then it means everything in the world.
Yeah, but people don't even look at it that far. I mean, how in the world do you literally take Vince Neil?
Okay.
Wrote Home Sweet Home. You liked Vince Neil. You liked Home Sweet Home. Maybe you got your first piece of ass to Home Sweet Home. Right? Okay. How in the world could you ever still say, well, that's the guy that I got to take any kind of advice from?
All right.
I mean, how? For what reason? And I'm just using him as an example. You can use any celebrity. I don't care who it is. He was just first name that came up.
Sure.
Any celebrity, any one of them. Robert De Niro. Why would you take advice from Robert De Niro?
Well, I'll tell you the reason why.
Go ahead.
Because they're successful.
What does that mean? But not at life.
No.
They're successful at their chosen career.
And I agree. But the thing is, they have, and again, this goes back to our original discussion. It's all about money. They have money. They somehow acquired money because of some decision that they made. So why can't I have that success and money?
Yeah, I guess, but
and really, that's what it boils down to. It's just like, oh, well, they had success. They are in movies. They have money. They have fame. They have all these things that I don't have. So why are they successful and I'm not?
Look, I can solve that question. Here, I'm going to give you your life coaching I'm going to give you the 90-second life coaching, which is everything you would get if you paid for life coaching for a year. Ready?
Yep.
If you want to be successful, it only requires two things: determination and luck.
Oh,
that's it.
Come on.
That's it.
Dude, that's too much. That's too much to think about. It should just come to me.
It will if you put in if you put in 9 million hours to do
No,
it.
I don't want to work at it. Come on, dude. There's got to be
Yeah.
another secret to it.
That's the secret.
No.
You won't find that in any other book, but that is the secret.
It's got to be, there's got to be more to it than just work. Come on.
Well, you're right. Really the secret is every time you walk through a door, you have to knock 16 times on the door before you walk through it. And you have to make sure you have $8.12 exactly in your pocket at all times.
Dude, you're talking OCD shit now.
Yeah, well, that's what they might as well. Look, if celebrity said it, you did. If a celebrity, if a really famous person, if Bono said, you know what, we could cure world peace if every single person on that has any kind of money kept $4.31 in your pocket, you'd have 1 million people tomorrow with $4.31 in their pocket. You would, because people are that dumb. People are that dumb and that needy of, well, I'm doing it because Bono said it's cool. I'm doing what he said. That's cool. It's pathetic.
Dude, you're bumming me out here.
Sorry.
I was looking for the quick answer to the success in life, and you're bumming me out, dude.
Well, it's because you don't have $4.31 in your pocket.
Well,
you'd feel better.
Yeah.
How much money you got in your pocket?
$250.
Too much. You need to give me $239 and change, and you keep that $4.31, and then you'll have luck. See, now I sound like one of these fucking shysters. Just give me $239. You can keep $4.31, and then you'll have a better life.
Okay.
I'll expect it in the mail tomorrow.
Well, I think you would expect me to PayPal it to you after the show.
Okay. Well, there you go. Send it give me a Venmo.
Yeah. Why would you wait for a snail mail when you could have Venmo or PayPal?
Yeah. Why would I give you any opportunity to change your mind and realize that I'm jobbing you?
Yeah. I mean, you got to get it immediately. You got to strike while the iron is hot.
That's right. Oh, you're willing to give me the money? Well, here's my address. Give it to me now.
Hurry up. Christ,
Neely, the quicker you send it to me, the more goodness you're going to get out of it.
Yeah, of course.
So why don't you just pause the show right now and play a song and send me that money right now? In fact, while you're with one hand to be pulling up Venmo, with the other hand be pulling up a song to play. Let's go. Get to it.
That's how it works.
I sound like Joel Osteen.
I know. I think you've watched too much Joel Osteen for your own good.
That's right.
But there's something to be learned, though, that these shysters, these guys who know how to work it,
yeah,
they know how to work their constituents, as it were, to pony up that money.
Yeah, they get it out of them. That's for damn sure.
They do. And I think I know you a little bit, but personally, I could not lay my coconut head down on a pillow at night knowing that I jacked somebody out of that kind of cash, because I just said, hey, you know what? Maybe you shouldn't buy that Budweiser 6-pack. Maybe you should take that money and invest it in the stock market or something. Just because I said that, and you sent over $200 by way of PayPal or Venmo or something because I gave you that advice. That's fucking ridiculous, dude.
Well, dude, look at us as a show. We refuse to just fucking shake the tree and say, hey, give us fucking PayPal money for listening.
Stupid.
We refuse to do it.
No.
And we could have made money doing it. Let's be honest. We could have made money doing it
many years ago.
Yeah.
But it was just like, we're not doing that.
Yeah. If we ain't giving you a product, we don't want your fucking money. Period. Maybe we should start. Maybe we're in the wrong. Maybe we're doing it wrong.
Nah. I couldn't accept it.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't want it either, really. To be honest, I have enough business. I don't need to make this into fucking work.
All right. Well, we talked about Paul McCartney about what was it, last week?
Mm-hmm.
And we talked a little bit about that.
Yeah.
So our good friend Mark Miller, who is always on top of things, he actually sent us several stories about the John Lennon fortune, and the Yoko Ono and the Beatles and all that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna run through this real quick.
All right.
Yoko Ono. Now, how old is she? Like 70 something?
She's got to be in her 70s at this point.
She hands over her business interest to Sean Lennon.
Well, congratulations, Julian. You get nothing again.
Well, wait a minute. There's more to it.
Okay.
So apparently, it's very strange, but believe it or not, wait a minute.
She's 87, by the way.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. 87.
Wow.
She's almost 90 years old.
She's going to get every minute of ruining the Beatles in.
So Yoko Ono, 87.
Wow.
Hands over business interests to the Beatles' son, Sean.
All right.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
So ailing Yoko Ono is handing her business interest in the Beatles and John Lennon over to her son, Sean. The reclusive 87-year-old has not been seen in public for more than a year and now uses a wheelchair much of the time in the rare occasions that she leaves her New York home.
Yeah. Good point, Sal. She could run for office. She is 87.
She could be Biden's running mate.
Yeah, no kidding.
She's been managing John Lennon's. How much is John Lennon worth to you? Do you know?
I have no. Got to be $500 million. Better. Let's find out.
$800 million.
Yeah. Oof.
$800 million.
He's been dead 40 years.
Yeah. Well, he's as much dead as Paul McCartney is alive.
Yeah.
Because we talked about that last week. So John Lennon is worth almost $1 billion. Jesus criminy.
His corpse.
Now, Sean, who is 45, has been appointed a director at eight companies.
Well, good for him.
Linked to the company and the Beatles, according to the Mirror, including the multimedia Apple Corporation.
Okay.
Apple Corporation has reported assets of $360 million last year.
Wow.
And Sean is believed to be taking over the Lensolo. I don't know what that is. Managing John's solo. Oh, Lennon solo. I guess that's what that means.
All right.
Solo material. McLen, which publishes John's work in the U.S. and Suba Films, a music film industry.
All right. Well, good for him.
Jeez. You talk about being born into
Yeah.
wealth.
Right place, right time.
Exactly.
Meanwhile, Julian can't even get a ticket to one of these films from this movie company. Julian can't even get in the door.
Yoko has been vocal for decades about the global peace and has been seen as attending exhibitions for her artwork. Her artwork.
Yeah.
But she has become more reclusive in recent years, has then spoken about suffering from an illness on what would have been John's 80th birthday last month. Sean made a BBC documentary and an Apple Music show to mark the occasion. Yoko only tweeted a video in which she appeared to be reading from a script.
Okay.
In one of her last public appearances in 2017, holy shit, 3 years. She says, I've learned so much from having this illness. What illness?
Corona.
Is that what it is?
She started it, didn't she?
Yeah, probably.
I mean, isn't it the Yoko flu?
Yeah, it's a Yoko Ono virus.
Yeah. It took our great country and just ruined it, just like she did with the Beatles.
She started with the Beatles and then she ruined the whole country.
Yeah, our world.
Exactly. But it is not known what the artist is suffering from. Isn't that interesting?
Mm-hmm.
She's in a wheelchair. She's ill. She's sick, but nobody knows what she's sick from.
Probably saw her own artwork and got fucking violently ill. Or hearing loss from listening to her own albums.
Yep. In February of 2016, Yoko was hospitalized after suffering what was rumored to be a stroke, but she later said it was a severe flu. So
she's Stroko Ono?
Stroko Ono.
Is that who she is?
It's funny that it's reported that she suffered a stroke, but she refutes that and says it's just the flu.
It's just the flu.
What the? See, this is where all that disinformation comes from.
From her?
No, I'm just saying that. I'm just saying that it's funny that it's reported that, well, Yoko Ono, suffered a stroke.
Yeah.
And she comes out and she goes, "No, I just have the flu."
And what is she protecting herself from?
That I don't know. That's the whole question.
She's 87, for God's sakes. If she had a stroke or the flu, no one's going to care either way. The only one that's going to care is the guy that's making the casket for her.
True.
I mean, Jesus Christ. You think she gets buried in one of those big mausoleum things?
Probably. Where's John Lennon buried?
I don't know. Is he under that Imagine fucking thing? I don't know.
Well, you would think that she would be laid to rest next to him, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you think?
You would think. Let's see. John Lennon. Yoko Ono had Lennon's body cremated at the Ferncliff Cemetery and scattered his ashes in Central Park in the site of their New York apartment.
All right. So if when she dies, will she be scattered as well?
I don't know.
Okay.
Well, let's hope that's one of the days that they actually have a street cleaner that comes by and sweeps that shit up.
She still lives in the same 9-room Dakota building in New York where John Lennon was assassinated outside in 1980.
Yeah, you think she ever went up by the door of the wall and put her finger in the bullet hole? You think she ever did that?
I don't think so.
You don't think? I mean, she walks by it every day. Wouldn't your curiosity get to you at some point?
You would think so.
It's not like she moved away from it.
No, she stayed there.
I'll bet you she stuck her finger in the bullet hole. I would bet just about, I know I would. If I was going to live there, first of all, if it happened to me, I would move the fuck out of there.
Of course.
But since she stayed, you got to think that at some point she went up and put her finger in the hole a little bit just to see. Just to kind of have a memory. You got to think that, don't you?
The memory remains.
Every 2 years when the probation is turned, is denied, she goes up, touches that hole in the wall.
Right.
Hole in the door frame.
All in all, we're just another hole in the wall.
Wrong band, Neely, wrong band.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, they're English.
He gunned you, yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right.
Don't shoot me down.
You could rewrite all the Beatles lyrics, couldn't you?
I probably could. I could probably find a bunch of good ones.
All right. And John Lennon at the BBC brings together from the archives classic performances and interviews on Sunday, October 4th from 7 to 9 p.m.
Okay.
All programs will be broadcast on Radio 2 and BBC Sounds will be available to listen again on BBC Sounds for 30 days. This is the John Lennon is one of the Radio 2 audience's most popular and best loved musicians. So we're thrilled and honored that Sean, first ever radio program in which he talks at length about his father alongside his brother, Julian Lennon.
What?
Yes.
Well,
Paul McCartney and Elton John will be broadcast on our network.
Of course, they'll have 3 of those guys in the studio and 1 guy Skyping in. Wonder which guy it'll be, with no video, of course.
Of course. John Lennon will have turned 80 years old on Friday. That is the 9th of October.
Okay.
80 years old.
Wow.
Hosted by his youngest son, Sean, in his first ever radio show after his father. This is a celebrity musical family portrait of the legendary musician. It sheds light on John's remarkable life in music.
Okay.
One of which has created some of the most important, I like that part, the important musical milestones of the 20th century, and also delves deep into his incredible back catalog.
Mm-hmm.
Each of the hour-long programs journey through the incomparable and prolific, boy, I'll tell you, with this writer, each of the hour-long programs journeys through this incomparable and prolific musical life as a Beatle, as a solo artist with Yoko Ono. They have to throw that in there, of course.
Of course they do.
And as a collaborator. Sean, in a conversation with his older brother, Julian, brings their unique insights to John's sons, sharing their thoughts and recollections about their father's compositions and significant moments.
So wait a minute. Sean was what, 5 when John was killed?
Something like that.
4 or 5.
Yeah.
What does he have to offer here?
Probably nothing. Just from archival shit, I would think.
My dad took me to the park. It was awesome. Thanks for coming, Sean.
Yeah, I swang on the swings.
Yeah, and he pushed me.
Yeah.
He pushed me. Yeah.
This is the first time that the brothers,
Mm-hmm.
half brothers, have ever spoken publicly together. Wow. After all this year, this is the first time that they've spoken together publicly.
Mm-hmm.
All right. About their memories of their dad. Mm-hmm. And the first time Sean has talked about John publicly with his fellow Beatle and songwriter partner, Paul McCartney, and Sean's godfather, Elton John.
Well, great.
The program will be made by independent production company Listen.
Okay.
Independent. What? Well, again, you would think that somebody who is of a high profile, such as Beatle, mm-hmm. they have a independent company called Listen, mm-hmm. Publishing this thing.
Great.
All right. Helen Thomas, head of the station Radio 2. Radio 2.
I think that's in England.
All right. It says John Lennon is one of the Radio 2's audience most popular and best beloved musicians. So we're thrilled and honored that Sean's first ever. How many times are they going to mention that?
They're going to beat that home, man.
This is his first ever radio program in which he talks at length about his father alongside his brother Julian and Paul McCartney and Elton John will be broadcast on our network.
I think they're not very confident that this thing's going to do really well.
Well, again, this is like, well, we have cred. Look at us. We got big stars.
Mm-hmm.
We've got big names.
Hey, I'm not going to lie. I would listen to this.
All right.
Wouldn't you? Just out of curiosity, you wouldn't listen to this?
Sure I would. But this is the whole thing. There's been a lot of years that have gone by.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, this is the first time that Sean has actually spoken with Julian.
Yeah, well, might be the first time he's spoken to Julian, period.
But that's kind of my point.
Yeah.
Sean and Julian talk personally about their father and how he taught them about music.
Yeah.
Well, somehow, some way, at least from what I understand, at least, of course, I don't have the whole story.
Mm-hmm.
How much time did John spend with Julian Lennon?
Oh, I have no idea. Not much.
That's kind of my point.
Yeah, because when Julian was born, he was already cheating with Yoko, wasn't he?
That's what I'm saying. This Julian, he was born to what's her name?
Cynthia.
Yeah, Cynthia.
Mm-hmm.
And he was already off and running, doing other shit. So it's just like, how much time did he spend with Julian?
You know what the biggest crime is out of this whole story? If this fucking knothead Yoko would have put the effort in to raise Julian like she raised Sean, I mean,
Okay.
she wouldn't have necessarily parented him, but really kept him as part of the the Lennon thing, instead of ostracizing him as as separate from Sean and from the Lennon estate, more or less. Julian Lennon would probably have become a monster star.
Well, I agree. And I mean, obviously he had a good start back in the 80s when, he had the whole MTV video thing.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah, because they promoted that this is, oh my God, this is Julian Lennon. This is John Lennon's son.
Mm-hmm.
And he looked like him and he kind of sounded like him, and they had music videos and after that whole era was over, Julian kind of faded into the background.
Yeah. But man, those first two songs, if he would have had the backing of the Beatle money, whether it was Yoko or even McCartney or anybody, if he would have had that kind of backing supporting him,
I agree.
He would have been huge.
I agree.
Because, dude, he was well on his way with Much Too Late for Goodbyes and Velat. Those fucking songs were I remember everybody was like, holy shit, the Beatles are back.
Yeah, it sounded very Beatle-esque.
Yeah.
I remember seeing it on my on MTV myself, and it was just, holy shit, this kid kind of looks like John Lennon in a way, and he sounds like him, and it kind of has that same style and whatever. And it's just like, but then after that whole MTV thing went away, he kind of disappeared.
Yeah, well, they put distance. Remember, there was like a whole thing, and I don't remember it clearly, so I could be very wrong on this, and I'm sure people will correct me. But if I remember right, they then tried to promote Sean. They tried to push Sean up into the mix in the 90s. Like he was doing some kind of music with, I forget who it was, but they tried to push him up in the mix and no one was buying it.
Yeah, because it wasn't interesting enough.
Well, and it wasn't as talented, it's just that.
That part is true as well.
But man, they could have built another era of Beatle-esque. Dude, how cool would that have been if he would have gotten huge and like him and Paul McCartney and Ringo were to get up on stage and Harrison before he died, play a couple of Beatles tunes.
Well, this is no different than the Led Zeppelin.
Of course.
Same thing.
Except it would have been 9 million times bigger. It would have been 9 million times bigger if they would have built Julian up Or even during the Velat year, even during that year when they had Velat and they had Much Too Late for Goodbyes on MTV. If they would have announced a show with Julian as the opening band for those 3 remaining Beatles, and then Julian came out and did, a couple of songs with the actual Beatles, that would have been one of the most massive concerts in the history of concerts.
And I think a lot of people were thinking that at the time.
Yeah.
Because I remember when that came out, and again, Julian kind of looked like John a lot, had kind of a lot of features. He kind of had a lot of the vocal sound.
Mm-hmm.
And I think and again, I agree with you, if they had done something like that, it would have been massive.
Yeah. Do you think it would have been bigger than the Zeppelin stuff? I do.
Absolutely.
I think it would have been Live Aid-esque.
Yeah, I agree.
I honestly think it would have been whatever the biggest, it would have been like Rock in Rio, but they would have been able to do that anywhere they wanted to.
Yeah. At that time, if they had captured that at that moment, it would have been massive.
Yeah. But they didn't.
Well, again, they didn't need the money.
True, and that's probably a big part of it. They had no need for cash.
Well, again, this is what the whole theme of this show tonight has been.
Mm-hmm.
It's been about the money.
Yeah, true.
But the Beatles, regardless if you're John Lennon or Paul McCartney or even a George Harrison or Ringo Starr, none of you are hurting for money.
Yeah, true.
Those guys have been mega rich, since the late 60s or the early 70s, and
since they were 19 or whatever.
Of course.
Just think of how much they're all worth about $1 billion, and they got fucked in the early 60s. They got fucked on their deal like every other band did in the 60s when there was no rhyme or reason to how deals worked. Can you imagine how much money they would have if they would have...
If they made a proper deal, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
They might have $2 billion each.
Yeah.
Whew. That's a lot of cake.
Julian recalls his dad buying him a guitar when he was around 11 years old. It helped him get into playing music, and he remembers recording an early school gig which he sent to his dad on a he sent it on a cassette.
Oh,
Dad, this is what I'm doing now. Yeah, great, son. I got a new wife and a new kid. Fuck you.
Dad was a little too busy to come to the talent show.
Right. Together, Julian and Sean recall Lennon's final album, that is Double Fantasy, which Sean describing it was overwhelming to listen to because some of the earliest memories are of being in the studio with his dad during the recording of it.
Right.
Now, when did Double Fantasy come out? What, 1980 or something like that?
It came out like either a month before or after he died.
Yeah, it was in the early 80s.
Yeah.
They talk about their memories of finding out their dad was a Beatle. Okay. And not like everyone else's dad, with Julian talking about seeing his fans at the end of the garden each day when he was 2 or 3 years old growing up in England, and Sean recalling similar scenes outside their apartment building in New York.
Right. By the way, Double Fantasy, October 19th, 1980.
All right. I thought it was 80.
So about a month and a half before he died.
Okay. Paul McCartney shares his memories of meeting John, talking about the combination of him and John, saying, I look back and how, like a fan, how lucky I was to meet this stranger, Teddy Boy, off the bus, who played music like I did, and we got together, and boy, we complimented each other.
Great.
John asked about his grandma, John's mom, who had a massive influence on his life and music, but sadly she died when John was a teenager. Paul shares some lovely memories. She was a doll. You would have loved her, and explains how much she was like John.
So Paul probably knew her for about a year. Because, I mean, they said when he was a teenager. Well,
Yeah.
they only were. I mean, they were teenagers together for very little bit of time with the early incarnation of the Beatles.
Yeah, I agree.
Maybe a year, two. I mean, it's not like Paul and John were like lifelong friends or something.
Oh,
He might have met this lady 4 times, but she was lovely.
she was lovely.
She offered me tea, and I drank it, and it was lovely.
Yeah. After their writing partnership, Sean asked if there were any songs that he and John didn't like, or if they struck gold from the beginning. Paul says, there were a few songs that weren't very good. Clearly young songwriters who don't know how to do it, and then picks up his guitar and he plays an excerpt of a Lennon McCartney track called Just Fun, which he never recorded. He goes on to say, eventually we started to write slightly better songs and then enjoyed the process of learning together so much that it really took off. And whether it Let It Be period, the Beatles broke up soon after, really was gloomy as the press made it to be. Paul says he always thought it was until he saw something recently discovered footage of the recording sessions and recalls a photo taken by Linda of them both writing during sessions, saying it reminds him of the strength of the friendship with John, and the photo showing a different, less gloomy side, which gave him hope.
Yeah. What's the craziest part? So they said during this thing he riffed off, some bullshit that they started working on and decided was garbage.
Yeah.
If he would just finish that track, it would sell fucking millions of copies.
You're probably right.
He just by saying that he wrote it with John Lennon, even if he didn't, he could just say, he could write like one of his horrible songs that he writes right now and just say, yeah, this was based on a riff that John gave me.
Well, yeah, this was something we were working on together. I just decided to finish it today.
Yeah. 5 million downloads.
Of course. I would agree.
That's the power of the Beatles is crazy.
It is. But again, this goes back to the whole old adage. No one remembers the second guy who walked on the road.
Yeah.
I mean, really, that's really what it boils down to.
Mm-hmm.
Sean also asked about his father's insecurities, with Paul replying that his confidence was a shield, explaining that his wit guarded him from his insecurities. Wait a minute, there's a guy, John Lennon, who's like a genius, clever, witty, confident, and everything. Why would he have insecurities? Because we're all fragile beings. So again, I'm going to go back to a Chris Aikinism.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, here's a guy who wrote a song that I like.
Exactly.
I mean, that really is what it boils down to.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
I mean, so what? This guy sat in a room and he penned out a song, go, yeah, I'm going to rhyme some words together.
Yeah.
And it might resonate with you. It might not. And if it does, cool. If it doesn't, well, whatever. You're not a fan.
Yeah.
And if you are, yeah, I'm gonna look like the smartest son of a bitch that ever lived.
Right.
For the first time, Sean speaks publicly to Elton John, who talks about what it was like being around John.
What?
That's
are they going line for line of this special in this fucking press release? Jesus.
And that's kind of what I was gonna go to. It's like, after reading this, why would you even watch it?
No, you don't need to.
Because they transcribed every single line that was spoken. And I'm going to go back to something that we talk about all the time.
Mm-hmm.
What was it like knowing Elton John?
Yeah.
What was it like?
Yeah.
I don't know. He was a skinny guy then. He's kind of fat and bloated now.
Yeah. Doesn't sound nearly as good as he used to.
Yeah, he was losing his hair, and now somehow he's got a full head of hair now.
Looks like a football helmet. Looks like he played for the fucking Chargers in the 60s.
Exactly. He tells a great story about cycling 8 miles to buy a copy of Sgt. Pepper.
Elton John?
That's what it says.
Was that over a week?
In Hatch End. And because he is such a fan, and from being a fan to finally meeting John, he tells Sean, when I met your dad, I felt like I'd known him all my life.
Wow.
And that's the biggest compliment I can pay him.
Oh, great.
He talks about the Madison Square Garden performance John did with him in 1974.
That's the best he can do, is say, yeah, felt like I knew him all your life. That's not necessarily good.
Well, here's the thing. He's a songwriter. I'm a songwriter. It's like, you write songs? Yeah, I write songs. I write songs too. Cool, man.
Yeah.
We're kindred spirits.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Elton, at that time, you weren't writing songs. The other guy was writing songs. You were just singing them.
Yeah. Bernie Taupin.
Yeah. Bernie Taupin was writing all those songs, not you.
Yeah.
When you started writing, that's when we got I'm Still Standing. That's when you went to shit.
Yeah, Too Low for Zero.
Yeah, exactly. Blue eyes, baby's got blue eyes. Exactly. And that's, if ever there was a statement of fact about the songwriter means everything to the musician, it's Elton John. Because with Bernie Taupin, those songs are fucking untouchable. The minute he got away from Bernie Taupin, those songs are unlistenable. All of his stuff in the 80s and 90s was just wretched, just bad. You know, I mean, and all of that, dude, greatest hits 1 and 2 from Elton John. As far as songwriting goes, that is a literal lesson in how to write fucking popular songs. And then in the 80s, when we got, you know, I'm Still Standing and garbage, just garbage, you know, oof, bad. Can you feel the love tonight? Bernie Taupin was probably saying, don't tell people I used to write for you.
Exactly.
Don't let people know that.
But it's very interesting how they reunited and, you know, kind of collaborated again.
But the magic's gone at this point.
Yeah, of course.
You know. Yeah, it worked when they were, you know, together all the time.
Yeah, it was an era gone by.
Yeah, it's not going to work 30 years later. Okay, we're back. Let's write a fucking song. No. Yeah, good choice there, Bobby Kenneth. Sad songs.
Yeah.
That is a sad song. Sad songs, they say so much.
What do they say? That I'm not a good songwriter.
They say, turn it on. Turn it on. Fucking terrible song. But I know all the words, so it can't be that bad, I guess.
Well, again, it was played a ton of times on commercial radio because it was Elton John.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. He talks about the Madison Square Garden performance John did with him in 1974, which became Lennon's final live gig appearance, but was also where he reunited with Yoko Ono. Well, you know, that's a force. After a period of separation, soon after she was pregnant with Sean. Hence the reason Elton is his godfather.
Great.
Holy shit. In John Lennon, at the BBC, Liza Tarbuck explores the BBC archive of John Lennon from his earliest days with the Beatles up to his final interview recorded just 2 days before his death in December of 1980.
Damn.
His work, both as a musician and as a high-profile peace activist, still resonates it resonates as loudly today as it did during his lifetime.
Yeah.
He appeared frequently on the BBC program and 3 articulate, often controversial,
Yeah.
and always searing honest as he talked about his subjects, including the Vietnam War, his protracted struggles with the U.S. authorities as he tried and eventually succeeded in securing residency there. See, again, America, it's so terrible, but you're fighting for your ability to just stay here.
Yeah, you didn't stay in England. You fucking moved here to avoid paying taxes there, pal.
Of course you did. The breakup of the Beatles, his treatment by the press, and the development of his music through the 60s and the 70s.
If he was alive today, he would have fucking released 400 songs about Bad Orange Man.
Of course he would have.
He would have just, and he just sang them from his hospital bed instead of his regular bed.
Of course.
The
featured program includes his 1971 appearance at Parkinson alongside his wife Yoko Ono, performing his own poetry on Not Only, but also talking to currently Radio 2 presenter Bob Harris about his rock and roll and Walls and Bridges album on the Old Grey Whistle Test, an early pop profile of the BBC World Service and Brian Matthews, and his explosive 1969 interview with veteran New York Times war correspondent Gloria Emerson. Boy, those are names that ring a bell. Not
at all.
Which was captured on film for the BBC 24 Hours. Also featured on tracks from throughout his career, which would have been painstakingly restored and remixed for the newly released collection Give Me Some Truth. These are heard alongside exclusive performances, some of his most celebrated songs, including Imagine, Love, Woman, and Happy Christmas, War Is Over, featuring Kadia Malua, Roachford, Elo Becca, and blah, blah, blah. I can't even, I have no idea who these people are.
Who cares?
Performing with the BBC Concert Orchestra. This is a BBC audio production. Boy, so that's something you can look forward to.
I'm gonna be honest. I love the Beatles.
They're very. Let me just put it this way.
Okay.
They were a point in time, and obviously nobody had done what they have done at that time.
Sure,
but here we are, 50 some years removed from the Beatles, and they're still, generating massive amounts of money.
I still listen to them all the time. I mean, literally all the time I listen to the Beatles. That being said, John Lennon's solo was garbage.
Well, yeah.
Garbage.
Well, it's the whole collective that makes everything.
Yeah. I mean, literally he had like 4 good songs on Double Fantasy. Double Fantasy, I think, was his opus that he had his best work on.
As a solo artist.
Yeah, Watching the Wheels was really good, and Woman was really good. There's like 4 or 5 really good songs on that record. Other than that, give me Instant Karma, give me Imagine, and I'm done. That most of his albums were just shit. Just shit. Yeah, Working Class Hero was pretty good. But dude, realize he had an album called Shaved Fish? Shaved Fish.
Yeah, because fish grow those unsightly whiskers.
Yeah. Hey, what were they thinking? And Phil Spector was involved in that shit, and just garbage.
Well, you can't forget the Plastic Ono Band.
True. That's true.
Plastic Ono Band.
Garbage.
Well, again, it's the sum of the parts is greater than how's that go?
The It was like the collective is greater than the sum of its parts, or something.
Exactly, something like that. But you got to have all the elements to make it the best thing that it can be.
Yeah.
You know, not one. Even Paul McCartney, even though he did some, pretty good solo material, it never usurped what the Beatles did.
No. Harrison had some good music, but it wasn't super popular, but it's actually really pretty strong to listen to. But yeah, none of them, dude, they all needed each other. They probably could have done well without Ringo, but other than Ringo.
Come on, don't brag on Ringo, man.
Because he didn't add anything. Come on. That guy, seriously, talk about winning the fucking lotto. Holy smokes. That fucking dumbbell that quit the band and gave that seat to Ringo? Please tell, that guy committed suicide, didn't he, Pete Best?
You would think so.
What happened to Pete Best?
Look him up.
I'm looking him up right now.
He still might be alive, for all you know.
He's not still alive. Yeah, he is. Holy shit. I wonder if he's a millionaire. I'll bet he is.
You think he got any credit for any of the Beatles stuff?
No, but I'll bet you he's gone out and toured as Pete Best, formerly of the Beatles. I'll bet anything on that. I know he didn't just tour as Pete Best. He was, dude, that guy, every day he's got to fucking look in the mirror and just be like, God damn it. I could have had $800 million. Instead, I'm driving a cab here in Jersey.
Sure.
He's got to have $1 million, though.
Well, you would think, and you would hope.
Let me see. Did he write a book? He had to have written a book.
Of course he, dude, come on.
Pete Best book. Did he write a book? Well, Pete Buttigieg did. Pete Best. I don't see a book.
Wow.
How does he not have a book?
You better contact him, Chris.
No shit.
You could work in collaboration with Pete Best.
Pete Best. And I would. Are you kidding me? If I could write a book with Pete Best, I would. That thing would sell a few thousand copies just because he was in the Beatles for 13 seconds. He was in the Beatles. How does he not have a book? I mean, even if it was one chapter, it would still sell well.
Yeah, you could make one of those mini books that you did, the Motley Crue, or the Motley Crue, or Metallica.
Pete Best. Let's see. Oh, he left show business, and by the time of Hunter Davis's authorized Beatles biography, he was not willing to talk about his Beatles associate. Yeah, he's bitter. Oh no, he did write an autobiography. What's it called, though? They don't even say. Best sued the Beatles for defamation of character.
It's called.
All right, he's rich.
Yeah, I got fucked by the Beatles.
He sued the Beatles and eventually got an out-of-court settlement for much less than the $18 million he sought.
Sure.
So they probably gave him $2-3 million to go away. Yeah.
Did you say half?
They didn't say. I would think probably. I'm thinking 3 to 5.
All right.
Oh, wait a minute. He also got paid for the anthology stuff for Anthology 1.
Okay.
And it says that he received a substantial windfall between $1 million and $4 million from the sales.
All right.
Although he was, so dude, just by being in that band for fucking 6 months or whatever he was in the Beatles.
He probably got like $6 to $10 million.
$10 million.
Yeah.
God damn. I need to start joining some bands for a minute.
Well, you do have scars.
I do have scars. Maybe that's going to be my big hit.
Yeah.
I'm going to get Mariah Formica to sing it, and then I'm going to fucking capitalize. I wrote that for her. Pay me. That's crazy. This guy fucking he was in the Beatles for a minute.
Yeah, he didn't even record with them.
No. But good for him. Made $10 million for being in a local band at the time.
For being associated.
For being associated to a local band.
Sure. He was
All right,
probably in the Silver Beatles era. The Silver Beatles.
he probably was. He probably was never actually a Beatle. He was a silver Beatle.
Yeah.
All right, I have one more story to close out the show, unless you have something.
No, go ahead.
Phil Collins does not go away.
I'm telling you, I am obsessed with these Phil Collins stories.
Well, it got even worse this week. Did you hear this week's news? Remember how we talked about how he looked disheveled and horrible?
Okay.
Well, now Oriane Sevi claims that his hygiene is awful.
Oh, I did see this.
And Phil has fired back.
Yeah. He was like impotent and he didn't shower and he was just all fucked up and
Exactly.
was like he had like bad breath and
yeah, he's a mess. It says Phil Collins says Oriane Sevi's claims about his wellness are sue slander. According to court documents obtained by Page 6, Collins is refuting Sevi's contention that Collins sunk into alcoholism and drug addiction during their marriage. I could believe that. And began neglecting his hygiene to the point where he didn't bathe for months at a clip.
Yeah, he's just some stinky old dude.
Ugh. Collins' filing called Sevi's story a litany of demonstrably false, immaterial, impertinent, scandalous, and what is this? Scurrilous.
Scurrilous.
Scurrilous. Yeah, she was scurrilous.
Well, see, here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Phil Collins paid her close to 50 million. And then if you add the house on top of that she refuses to leave, which was what 300 million?
No. The house was 33 million. It was 80 million total.
All right. 300. Well, okay. So the total amount between what he gave her in money and the house was like close to $80 million.
Yeah, exactly.
And then she turns around and she goes, well, he was impotent. And not only was he impotent, but he refused to shower and he stunk and he was like, he was just a horrific person. It's just like, bitch, I just paid you $80 million.
Well,
and you're saying this shit about me?
And here's the real thing. This is not divorce now. This is just the lawsuit to get her out of the fucking house.
Yeah, this is just back and forth shit.
So even if Phil did this, even if all this is true, even if Phil hasn't seen a bathtub since fucking Susudio came out.
Yeah, 1986 or in 1987.
What does that have to do with getting out of a house that she doesn't belong in?
Well, he smells.
So what? You're hiding from it in the house?
He hasn't brushed his teeth in a week.
So she's what? Hiding in the house from Phil's stink?
Yeah.
Phil's in another country. I mean, what the hell? And I don't know. This story just keeps on going.
Well, here's the thing that's really kind of disconcerting about the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Phil Collins is a musical icon worldwide. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And this bitch, she has no notoriety at all.
No.
She knows she hasn't created anything aside from sucking Phil's dick.
Dirty dick.
Yeah. According to her. And she's not attractive at all.
No.
To boot. And then here's the thing. Phil Collins has got almost a 50-year career in music.
Mm-hmm.
And he's generated millions and millions of dollars.
Right.
And she is trying to soil his reputation as, again, I don't know Phil. Obviously, you don't know Phil.
I don't know Phil.
But here's the thing. This guy has had success beyond any one of our imaginations, whether it's you or me or anyone.
Or her imagination, for God's sakes. She's another one. She got the second best lottery ticket right behind fucking Ringo. She got $83 million for what?
For what? Because she was a groupie that Phil took a liking to for whatever reason?
Because Phil has no game enough to fucking not marry every chick that bangs him? Jeez, oh man.
So now she claims that, well, he's impotent, he can't get it up, he doesn't shower, he smells, he's this, he's that. This fucking guy's got millions of dollars, and without him, you would not have the lifestyle that you have.
Mm-hmm.
That's just unbelievable.
Yeah. You know who should be the most scared out of all this? The new husband. Can you imagine fucking watching your chick do this to her ex and thinking, oh my God, what's going to happen to me if I fucking don't feel well and forget to shower one day?
Well, I don't think that guy has anything to worry about because nobody knows this guy's name.
No, but still, she might steal all the money.
What money? This guy isn't wealthy as far as I know.
No, but he is now because he's married to her.
Okay.
Being married to her is worth at least 50 million, 25 to him. 25 to him if he sticks around for a little while.
All right.
Just think this fucking guy is going to be fucking spending take me home money or fucking lonely man there on the corner money. This new guy.
All right.
You bought the Mama album, right?
Yes, I did.
You fucking bought this guy a towel.
Probably.
You bought him a towel. And you bought her, when you bought Abacab, you bought her a towel. I mean, what the fuck? 50 million. Holy shit.
That's a lot of money.
It's awful. All right, let's see. Where was I here? Phil says that it has nothing to do with the legal claims in this case. And he suggests that her assertions have an ulterior motive to place his mental state under a cloud to deliberately make sensationalized and or false allegations in an effort to extort money.
I don't stink, man.
Come here and smell my balls. Your Honor, smell my balls. I washed them. How exactly do you prove that that's not true? I will give her credit where credit's due. That's a hell of a good claim. Because there's really no way for Phil to prove, unless he has videotape of him jumping in the shower every day.
Right.
How does he prove that he showered every day or every other day or whatever? He doesn't even have hair to look greasy. So how do you prove that? This is a cold bitch here, though.
Ugh.
She really is a cold bitch. Let's see. Is the court going to hear evidence about the party's sex life or examine Phil Collins' dental records or get photographs of his wardrobe to decide if he verbally promised Mrs. Bates 50% of his Miami Beach mansion? Of course not.
Jeez. and again, what did she do for any of that?
Nothing. Yeah. She didn't earn it.
Here's the thing. When I was married, 30 years ago or whatever, 25, 85, 95, 2005, 15. Well, it's been 35 years ago.
Yeah.
When I got divorced in 2007,
right.
My ex, before we got divorced, she kept spouting this. Well, I'm entitled to.
No, you're not.
Well, I'm entitled to. It's like, we've been married for, 28 months. It's like, you're not entitled to shit.
Yeah. Which day did you go to work for me?
Yeah, not a day.
Yeah, so you're not entitled to dick.
Yeah,
Who stopped you from going out and getting your own fucking money?
exactly.
Bitch.
But again, I didn't write any hit songs either. Like,
Yeah, true.
it's
True.
oh my God. But again, I'm going to go back to something you said last week.
Mm-hmm.
This is 100% on Phil's.
It is.
It's 100% Phil's fault.
Yeah, to bring her back in his life, and to bring her in his life in the first place is bad. But to bring her back, dude, I hope if Phil hears this, I hope he takes one lesson away from this. That is never again bring back anybody. The minute you kiss them off, they're done. They're gone.
Well, I'm gonna do one better. A Genesis song, throwing it all away.
Yeah, no kidding. This fucking guy has given up, $250 million in fucking settlements.
Yeah, 3 times.
Jesus.
This is the third divorce.
And if they're 80 million each time, that's $240 million.
Jeez.
God damn it. That rate, I'm ready to marry Phil for a year or two.
Yeah.
I'll deal with his stinky ass.
Gay and suck a stinky dick.
Yeah, for 80 million.
Yeah, for that kind of money. Sure.
For 80 million, I'll suck his dick on pay-per-view. I don't care.
Right.
God's sakes.
So what's the rest of the story?
Collins points, as he has in previous filings, to the fact that he's currently in the UK rehearsing with Genesis for a tour next year as evidence that he's not in the decline Sevy says he is. That I'm going to disagree with. He looked terrible when he
looked pretty rough.
He looked awful on tour. I can believe the part that he couldn't get his dick to work. He couldn't get his legs to work either. He couldn't walk out on the fucking stage. And what, I'm supposed to believe one of his 3 legs works? Not really. Not by now. Of course, I really didn't need to know about Phil's dick, but thanks, Sevy, for bringing that out.
Yeah, 3 legs live.
Yeah. I don't think everybody will get that, but I did. Let's see here. Collins 69 and Sevy 46 are locked in a bitter divorce battle currently. She claims he reneged on his deal to give her half of their $40 million home.
$40 million.
Jeez, oh man. The pair split in July after Sevy sent a text message to Collins, copping to an extramarital love affair. A month later, she secretly wed new husband Thomas Bates, 31. Collins tried to evict them, but now they've since agreed to move out of the house, which is currently up for sale in January.
Yeah. What was the worth of the house? Was like
40 million.
30 million.
40.
$40 million.
This article says 40, and she's supposed to take half.
Holy shit.
So 50 million plus 20 million. Holy smokes. Come on, Phil.
I can't imagine a house being worth, $40 million.
Can't either.
All right, go ahead.
That's it. That's the end of the story.
All right.
That's the latest on Phil Collins.
Jeez. Every week there's a saga. We love the Phil Collins.
Phil Collins has made a comeback on the CMS.
I guess. And I love Phil Collins and Genesis, and I know you do as well.
I do.
But holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
That is a lot of money.
Yeah. That's a lot of coin to just throw away.
Wow. All right.
All right. And that's that.
All right. Well, I know you weren't aware of it, but one of my sisters this week had brain surgery.
Oh, geez. No, I wasn't.
No, I know you weren't aware. But she had a tumor removed from her brain.
Ouch.
And she came out of it okay.
Great.
And she's recovering.
Is it the sister I know or the other one?
No, not one you know.
Okay.
And I was told that she was doing well.
Good,
and she is on recovery and all that good stuff. And the sister that you do know
yes,
asked that I close the show with a song for her.
All right. Fair enough.
And it's a band that you actually like. I think most people like. The band is Journey.
Like Journey.
And this is the first release from Arnel Pineda's, joining Journey.
Okay.
And this is kind of a ballady thing. So if you don't like ballads, tune out now. But I'm going to end the show in, kind of tribute to my sister.
Okay.
In recovering or pulling through the whole brain surgery thing.
Great.
And I'm going to end with some Journey After All These Years.
Good song.
So we're going to get out of here. We'll be back next Saturday. We'll do this thing all over again. Cool. So until next Saturday, this is Neeley along with my good friend
Chris Agan.
And we're gone.
Bye, kids.